Live at 4.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 4. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. Chance to dig out because here we go again.
Here we go again. Buckle up, everyone. Yeah, more impactful weather is on the way. News 3 Now's First Warn weather team has been tracking alert day conditions ever since this weekend.
Let's get right to the Weather Center and meteorologist Jacob Montesano. What is ahead of us, Jacob?
Well, we're going to see another round of possible snowfall, but after the system moves through, the temperatures are going to drop to even colder levels than we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And that does include last week, Thursday, where we had that alert day for the cold. But let's talk about the alert day for that system that's expected tomorrow night. It's going to bring some snow, windy conditions, as well as some icy roads as temperatures will warm up a little bit, kind of on that fringe level between rain and snow. And so a little bit of some freezing rain could also be possible with it. Now, taking a look at the forecast, we are going to see a brief round of snow tonight before the alert day. So the snowfall tonight, not the alert day, but it still could produce maybe a half inch to a full inch of snowfall for some areas. But it's going to be in and out of our area very quickly, and it will happen overnight, well out of the area before sunrise Tuesday. And to start the day Tuesday, some flurries are possible, but otherwise staying dry. That is until we get to the evening hours where that system will begin to move into the area. Right now, it is expected to start out as snow Tuesday evening. But after sunset, the temperatures will actually warm up a little bit and cause some of that snow to transition into rainfall. Now, it's worth mentioning this rain-snow line has been drifting a little bit south in some of these forecasts, so the amount of snow that's expected has been increasing just a little bit. Now, I'll talk more about snow totals later. Although we are going to see a transition to rain, we then are going to see a transition back into snow as temperatures cool down throughout the day on Wednesday. And the concern is that rain that does fall may then freeze over with the very cold temperatures that are expected on Wednesday. And then later in the week, there's another alert day in the forecast, but not for the snowfall. I'll talk more about that and show you the snowfall totals from this system coming up a bit later.
Thanks, Jacob. And you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Well, right now, the Middleton Cross Plains School District is giving us safety and security updates.
The district is telling parents how they can prepare for how the district prepares for critical incidents. Our Tanasia Shaw is joining us in the studio with more. And Tanasia, today you spoke with their security officer.
Hi, Susan and Brady. As I spoke to a security officer for the Middleton Cross Plains Area School District, he told me about the newest ways the district is keeping their students and staff safe. A lot of these changes happened over time. A major difference from 10 years ago to now is the security officer position itself. Asher Torbeck's goal is to find ways to keep classrooms safe. Some updated security measures are the visitor system, entryways, and how staff responds to those critical incidents.
We want our schools to be open and inviting, but we also need to make sure that we're secure and we're keeping our students and staff safe. So we reduce that down to one entry point within our schools, and then we create levels of security from that entry.
Torbeck also told me that a lot of these changes were implemented in schools across the country after the Sandy Hook shooting that killed 26 people in Connecticut back in 2012. I will have more on the changes that you can see in the Middleton Cross Plains Area School District at 5 and 6 today.
We'll see you then. Thank you, Tanasia. A new law in Wisconsin increases penalties for people who commit sextortion. Just hours ago, Governor Tony Evers signed a bipartisan bill, AB 201, now Wisconsin Act 48, into law, known as Braden's Law. It's named after a 15-year-old Wausau area student who died by suicide after being targeted by an organized sextortion ring. The law expands the Wisconsin Department of Justice's crime victim compensation program to include death by suicide or attempted suicide among the acts that may be compensated. It also makes it a felony to engage in sextortion that results in a suicide.
I have hope that we will take back control from these criminals and our children will no longer be pawns in their sick games. The passing of Braden's Law to me is perseverance and proof that we will fight for our children until the day that we join them again.
Braden's Law will also include graduated penalties for offenses depending on the offender, the act, and the victim's age or actions. Anyone with information about potential child exploitation should report it through Speak Up, Speak Out. And if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, this is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Both resources are free and available 24/7.
The case against a 41-year-old man charged with abducting a Beaver Dam teenager continues. Gary Day has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of child abduction and 2 counts of child enticement. Prosecutors say in February he kidnapped then 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. The two were found in April on Franklin's 18th birthday in Omaha, Nebraska. Franklin was 3 months pregnant. Day is believed to be the father. Day is also charged in Arkansas for multiple counts related to criminal sexual activity, including the production and possession of child sexual abuse materials. Day's next day in court will be January 7th, 2026.
4 people in Madison are without their home after a hot water pipe burst earlier today. This was on Troy Drive, just down the street from Fire Station 10. At about 2:30 in the morning, someone living in the building ran to the station to report the burst. Crews found the unit where the burst happened and large amounts of water. The flooding caused leaks in the unit directly below. Crews found the valve and turned it off. Thankfully, everyone made it out okay.
While checking other units, crews met a tenant who said the unit had a similar issue days earlier, causing her ceiling to collapse. A large amount of water was also found in the basement. Property managers were able to offer accommodations to all of the displaced people.
When consumers buy something online, it usually comes with an expected shipping date.
But some scammers sell items online with no physical products to ship at all.
Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn is here to make sure all of your gifts are delivered this year.
Awareness is the first step to not fall for a non-deliverable scam. It's often difficult to spot because fake imposter retailers set up sites that look legit, or they direct you through this too good to be true opportunity through social media.
Maybe a text message, but more often it's a social media ad that you will see linked to that fake website for that hard to get item or that really innovative, doesn't really exist product that's out there that would be so cool to receive this holiday season, but it's a fake product. It just doesn't even exist.
Scammers make money off consumers who forget about their purchase or don't want to deal with the return process. They'll make it difficult for you to get your money back, and some have policies intended to discourage refunds. To avoid non-delivery scams, consumers can shop with trustworthy online retailers that verify sellers and guarantee refunds in cases of non-delivery. Read the return policy before making the purchase to determine whether they're worth doing business with, and a quick Google search can help find seller information and reviews on what others are saying about them online. I just went through this with my grandmother and a Facebook ad she saw for a Bears hoodie. And while the website looked official, I Googled it with the name of the company and scam and found a bunch of reviews from people who had never gotten their product, never got a refund, and got scammed. So it takes 5 seconds, just do a quick search.
Good for you, Michelle Renee. You saved the day. And if you do fall for a scam, or if you need any kind of consumer help, our Call for Action team is ready. You can reach out for free advice or get help solving your issues. The number is on your screen now, and volunteers are here in the building every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11 to 1. You can fill out a form anytime online at channel3000.com/call for action. And you can see more of Michelle Renee's Consumer Reports weekdays on News 3 Now This Morning, and join her every Saturday and Sunday on weekend mornings. Well, still ahead, winter weather is here, and your skin is probably feeling it. You feel like crocodiles.
I just started noticing that. Well, the steps dermatologists say you should consider to take the best care of your skin during these colder months.
Plus, questions remain after a panel of advisors to the CDC changed its recommendations for the hepatitis B birth dose, whether insurers will still cover the vaccine, and what experts want expecting parents to know about the new guidelines.
And meteorologist Jacob Montesano is back with a full look at this week's forecast. When you should expect bitter cold this week. Live at 4 is back right after this.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Welcome back to Live at 4. Thanks for staying with us.
Did you get a workout this weekend shoveling?
I did, actually. I shoveled the whole driveway and my neighbor's sidewalk.
Yeah, it was very snowy out, and we do have alert day conditions in the forecast for another wintry mix on Tuesday night and Wednesday, but we also have a chance of bitter cold once again.
Jacob Montesano is in the studio now. Jacob, sorry about your Bears. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely good. We got another game with them in 2 weeks.
That's true.
And
That's true.
If the Bears win, the records will just be flip-flopped. And then I am very proud with how the Bears played in the second half after a very rough first half. But, you know, it's going to be a very good rivalry for the next couple of years for sure. As they were mentioning on the broadcast, it's that both teams have not been good at the same time much lately. So it's good to see that they both are good, at least from my standpoint. Now, let's focus on the forecast. We are seeing those alert day conditions. They're going to be for tomorrow night and Wednesday, mainly for Madison and areas to the north, although we are going to see a brief round of snow tonight. And areas to the south will still see some light snow, just not quite as heavy. And it's not just going to be the snowfall. We also are expecting some windy conditions and some icy roads that could create some treacherous travel conditions. Now, looking at the winter weather bulletins, there are winter weather advisories for areas off to the north. These are for 6 p.m. Tuesday through 6 a.m. Wednesday. Right now, they're projecting around 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. I'll show you our projections in just a moment. As we take a look at Futurecast, though, I do want to mention once again a brief round of some snow showers tonight, maybe bringing in a ½ inch to a full inch at most. So it could create some slippery roads, but these are going to occur well after sunset and clear out well before sunrise, so not going to see lasting impacts into Tuesday morning from that snowfall. But as we get towards Tuesday evening, that's when our next system will move in. It will start out as snowfall once we get to Tuesday evening, and it will continue as snowfall for a few hours. But areas further to the south will have the best chance to see the rainfall, and then that rain snow line will move likely north of Madison once we get to the later evening hours Tuesday. And I do want to mention areas off to the north will likely only see snowfall, especially for areas north of the Dells. And then as we get towards closer to Wednesday morning sunrise, we'll see that rain transition back into snow as those temperatures cool back down again, with more possible snowfall throughout the morning on Wednesday, clearing out pretty early in the day on Wednesday. Now, looking at how much snow we're going to see, right now we're projecting around 1 to 3 for much of Dane County, less for areas southwest, more for areas to the north, 3 to 6 for areas in the Dells, possibly over 6 inches for places to the north. But if that rain snow line continues to drift south, which it has been the last couple of runs, this 3 to 6 could creep down into Dane County. And as you can notice, it's a pretty sharp gradient from the 3 to 6 to the less than 1 inch. So it all depends on how far south that rain snow line stays. And yesterday we had that 1 to 3 kind of in the northern portion of Dane County. We're continuing to push it a little bit to the south as the models and the trends continue to push that rain snow line south. So this 1 to 3 could definitely become 3 to 6, but right now we're keeping that 3 to 6 off to the north, especially for areas north of the Dells. Now, that's not the only alert day in the forecast, because we are going to be seeing bitter cold temperatures for the weekend. We're expecting wind chills to drop to near -20, and they could be even colder than that, as in general, the temperatures for the weekend are looking even colder than what we saw this past Thursday. And it certainly has been cold across our area, but the coldest air is further off to the north, and it is going to drift south over the next couple of days. And once we get to the weekend, it's really going to be across the Midwest. So looking at the full 10-day forecast, high temperatures are likely going to be in the single digits, lows below 0, and as I mentioned, the wind chills very below 0, possibly near -20.
Ouch. All right, thank you, Jacob. Well, it is the largest organ in the body, but this time of year with those dipping temperatures, it can really wreak havoc on your skin.
In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks with a dermatologist about how to protect your skin this winter.
It's the season of dry skin, and if you're feeling the itch, you're not alone.
The cold temperatures outside, the high heat, and the low humidity, all of those factors play a role into making our skin more dry and more sensitive.
Dr. Susan Masick with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says there are ways to protect your skin and provide some relief. She says it starts with hydration.
You want to moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. You can never moisturize enough.
Masick says most products out there are effective. Emollients and ointments like petroleum jelly can help seal moisture into the skin. Creams that have more oil than water can replenish skin to keep it healthy.
Lotions tend to have more water, and so they are able to glide on the skin more easily than creams, but creams and ointments are more moisturizing.
And when outdoors, she says to cover up to make sure your skin isn't exposed to the elements. Inside, consider using a humidifier and avoid taking long, hot showers. Keep it lukewarm and shorter. She says to also pay attention to what you're washing with.
And make sure we're using mild soaps, gentle cleansers, avoid the really harsh astringents, toners, perfumes, scented types of cleansers that can actually help irritate the skin.
I'm Mandy Gaither.
It is a good idea to adjust your skincare regimen this time of year, adding additional moisturizer, but continuing to use sunscreen daily, yes, even in the winter.
Parents should still be able to get the hepatitis B vaccine for their children at no cost, despite the CDC's vaccine advisors' major change in recommendations. On Friday, advisors voted to end universally recommending the vaccine for newborns. Two major health insurance industry groups say they will continue to cover vaccines. The committee recommended earlier in the year through 2026. Still, experts say the new recommendation, which calls for moms who test negative to consult with a doctor before having their children vaccinated, could cause confusion.
And so having a policy that is based on testing of the mother, you're going to miss a whole bunch of infections. You are missing up to 2/3 of infected mothers, not to mention other household caregivers, grandparents, for example, who can also infect the baby.
Now, it's Dr. Gounder's recommendation that parents should get their children vaccinated for Hep B at birth, as a child's immune system, she says, 2 months later is far weaker.
Coming up on Live at 4, the president is taking a step toward limiting states' ability to regulate an emerging technology.
Why the White House says an executive order on artificial intelligence is necessary for the U.S.
Plus, are the president's hopes for a deal between Russia and Ukraine dead? What happened at a meeting today between Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders?
In national news, we're awaiting an executive order blocking states' ability to regulate artificial intelligence. Let's take a live look at the White House. Earlier today, the president posted on his social media that there should be only one rule book if the U.S. is going to lead in AI. It comes as states have passed laws to address potentially risky and harmful uses of the technology. Recent reports have highlighted the risks of AI causing delusions or contributing to self-harm. Critics worry that deregulation will allow AI companies to evade accountability.
Wall Street in the red to start out the week. The Dow dropped 216 points to close out the day. The Nasdaq is down 32. The S&P 500 is down 24.
Well, after a meeting with world leaders, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is reportedly ruling out ceding land to Russia.
That's a key component of Vladimir Putin's demands for ending the war. Natalie Brand reports on what else happened at today's meeting from the White House.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky huddled with leaders of France, Germany, and the UK in London Monday.
We stand with Ukraine, and if there's to be a ceasefire, it needs to be a just and lasting ceasefire.
The allies called it a critical moment as negotiations continue over a U.S.-backed peace proposal to end the ongoing war with Russia.
There are some things which we can't manage without Americans, things which we can't manage without Europe.
In a statement following the meeting, the leaders say they instructed their national security advisors to continue discussions in the coming days, saying they must keep up support for Ukraine and economic pressure on Putin. Over the weekend, Russian forces continued to attack. Ukraine says a barrage of drone and missile strikes killed at least 4 people on Sunday. Another hit a residential building, trapping people inside.
Territory has been a key sticking point in the ongoing negotiations. President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law met with Ukrainian negotiators over the weekend following their meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin last week.
I have to say that I'm a little bit disappointed that President Zelensky hasn't yet read the proposal. That was as of a few hours ago.
Speaking to reporters at the Kennedy Center Honors Sunday, President Trump indicated he doesn't think Zelensky is ready to sign off on a revised peace proposal.
Russia is, I believe, fine with it, but I'm not sure that Zelensky's fine with it. His people love it.
President Zelensky told Bloomberg News that there's disagreement over the eastern Donbas region. He also says any deal must include security guarantees that protect Ukraine from future Russian attacks. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Zelensky will travel to Italy tomorrow to continue his attempts to bolster European support amid the ongoing war. Coming up at 4, you might hear nighttime test flights of the F-35s this week.
What one man says he found while looking into the noise later on Live at 4.
And coming off their win against the Bears, News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has some post-game analysis.
Plus, meteorologist Jacob Montesano joins us again with a look at this week's forecast, when you should be ready for Alert Day.
You're watching News 3 Now Live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for staying with us on Live at 4. Despite all the shoveling, it was a very beautiful winter weekend.
It was, and the snow was nice and light, so it was easy to deal with. And if you are a person who likes the snow, you're going to love what's coming up in the forecast. Jacob is over in the Weather Center, and here we go again. More snow is on the way. First, let's take a look outside. Oh, that's a great shot.
Yeah.
A woodpecker?
Just hanging out, getting to work on this Monday.
Looking for seeds. This is an important time to feed the birds, too. The weather words for today, alert day conditions soon. What does soon mean, Jacob?
Well, we're going to see some light snow tonight, but the alert day is going to be for tomorrow, starting tomorrow evening and continuing through early Wednesday. It's going to be for some snow. We'll see some windy conditions, and we also could see some icy roads, as we're not only going to see snow with this system because temperatures will warm up. Now, the best chance of snow will be for Madison and areas to the north. Places in far southern Wisconsin will likely still see some snow at points, but we're going to see that rain kind of mix in, and the further south you're located, the more rainfall you will see. And again, this is going to be for Tuesday night and Wednesday. So let's take another look at future track. We are going to see some light snow tonight, bringing about a ½ inch to a full inch of snow to our area, but this is going to start well after sunset and clear out well before sunrise. You may notice it a little bit on some of the roads Tuesday morning, but overall that should not be a big issue. It's what we're going to see Tuesday evening. That will be the next alert day. And as the system moves in, it will start out as snow, but then after sunset, temperatures are actually going to rise a little bit, which will lead to that rain snow line you see kind of moving up to the north just a little bit. So we're going to see some snow and then some rain, and then the temperatures will cool down, which will end the system as snow, but those temperatures will continue to fall over the next couple of days afterwards. So I'll talk more about how cold it's going to get coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. And you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn Weather app. It has all of the information you need, and you can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather.
This week, the 115th Fighter Wing will conduct nighttime test flights for the F-35 jets.
And the noise of those jets continues to be a topic of discussion for residents on Madison's north and east sides. With more on that, our Jalen Banks joins us live tonight from Truax Field, where the testing takes place. Jalen?
Brady and Susan, from now through Thursday, Madison residents should expect to see F-35 jets taking off and landing until 8 p.m. each of those days. And the disagreements over the F-35s in Madison have gone on for years now. And one of the main areas of contention has to do with the noise of the jets. I caught up with a former energy efficiency analyst, Scott Pigg, who has spent the last few years tracking the frequency and decibels of the F-35s through a network of 20 meters he's had set up at different volunteers' house that he has for the study, and here's what he found.
Those meters are collecting data 24/7, once a second. The F-35s are about 40% louder than the F-16s were. It's only about 3 or 4 decibels, but every 10 decibels, the perceived loudness doubles. So 4 decibels louder is about 40%, louder. The 115th Fighter Wing says pilots follow
flight paths that try and minimize noise for residents in the area. And Scott says that he's actually been in contact with the 115th and says he hopes to work with them to try to minimize the noise that much more. Now tonight at 5, we'll hear more from Scott on his process and how he tracks the noise and the decibels, as well as how he plans to bridge that gap between residents and the 115th. But I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio. For now, reporting live from Truax Field, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Jalen, thank you. The Beaver Dam Police Department is investigating the cause of a fire that destroyed a barn. At about 7:30 last night, crews responded to County Road G in the town of Lowell. When they arrived, they found a barn on fire. Firefighters put it out by 10 o'clock. Thankfully, no other buildings were damaged and no one got hurt.
Around Wisconsin, a Superior police officer is expected to recover after being shot early yesterday morning. The DOJ says at about 2:45 in the morning, an officer made a traffic stop on a car affiliated with a domestic fight. Law enforcement says the suspect left the car and shot the officer. Both the officer who was shot and another officer responding to the incident fired back, hitting the suspect. The suspect drove from the scene and crashed into a nearby school. Police took the suspect into custody just after 7 in the morning.
This community is safe because officers were willing to take a bullet for the people of Superior. I will always be grateful for that. I look forward to being able to recognize and thank those officers in person and in public.
School was canceled today as a result of the crash. As is standard, all of the officers involved will be on administrative leave while the state's Division of Criminal Investigation looks into the incident.
Wisconsin's Public and Environmental Health Lab has a new director. Rudolph Johnson is a toxicologist who worked for the U.S. VA as director of program, looking at gaps within medical care for veterans who were exposed to chemicals. Before that, he worked for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for 20 years. The lab primarily focuses on clinical, environmental, and occupational health. As part of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, educating is a vital component of the lab's work.
The laboratory actually has a very broad impact across the United States and, of course, across the state, where it helps train public health professionals to be better at what they do.
Another goal Johnson has is to continue the lab's leading role in developing new capabilities in anticipation of future health needs.
Well, right now, changes are in effect for those of you who use Madison's Metro bus system. Route B, along with the endpoints for routes G, H, and O, have all moved to new stops at Park and Hughes, just 1 block north of the old transfer point. City officials say temporary bus shelters and benches will be in place until permanent shelters arrive early next year. These changes are part of the city's preparation for future redevelopment at South Park Street and Badger Road.
The federal government is recalling this popular children's toy. Create-On Crayola branded Pip Cubes contain magnets that can become loose, creating a choking hazard. The magnetic building cubes were sold in sets of 24 or 27 cubes. The 24-piece sets were sold at Michael's stores around the country and through Michael's website. The 27-piece sets were sold online on Amazon. So far, there are no reports of any injuries. People who have the magnet set should either toss it or return it to the store where you got it for a refund. After their win over the Bears, sorry Jacob, the Packers are gearing up to take on the Broncos.
News 3 Now's senior Packers writer Jason Wilde has analysis from Green Bay.
The Packers got the better of the Bears yesterday in their 28-21 victory here at Lambeau Field, but they will match up again in 12 days at Soldier Field. And one thing is clear to Packers quarterback Jordan Love is that these aren't the same old Bears, and this isn't the same old rivalry.
Like you mentioned when I first got here, this is a completely different team. And I think they're playing some really good ball over there. So, like you said, I think just the situation we were in, meeting for the first time this late in the season, and obviously, like I said, them being number one in the North, this game meant a lot more than it did in other years. So, like I said, they're a good team. There's other good teams in the North, and we just got to keep finding ways to keep going out there and winning.
Before the Packers see the Bears again, they will travel to Denver to face the best team in football, the 11-2 Denver Broncos. That matchup, of course, a showdown between two top-ranked defenses. We'll have full coverage leading into Packers Broncos, and we'll have everything from Packers Bears on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
Thank you, Jason. Up next, while the holidays are a cheerful time for many people, it can be a common source of stress and reminder of grief for others.
When we come back, UW health psychologist Shyla Murgain joins us with tips for dealing with the holiday blues.
And later, local film critic Will Loper tells us which movie topped the box office over the weekend, and he gives his review of the new Shakespeare movie, Hamnet.
Plus, Jacob returns with a look at your first warn forecast, how Tuesday and Wednesday's alert day conditions could impact your travel plans. That's when we come back.
When you're navigating a difficult life event, the holiday season, it can be tough.
Very tough. The merriment and cheer of this time of the year, it can often make a person feel worse and can serve as a reminder of losses and stressors. It's an important thing to remind everyone at this time of the year that not everyone is cheerful and happy. It's a difficult time, and UW Health distinguished psychologist Shyla Murgain is here to explain several things that can help you navigate the holidays during a challenging time. Hi, Shyla.
Oh, happy holidays.
Happy
to both of
holidays.
you.
It's so important to think about this because, you don't know what people are going through, and a lot of people struggle at this time of the year. And your number one tip is the hardest thing for us to do.
Yeah.
It's self-care. Why is self-care so elusive and hard to find?
Yeah, during this time of year, we can get so busy and stressed and taking care of everyone else that we forget to really make ourselves a priority. And so many people are struggling with loss. I mean, loved ones might not be around at the table because they've passed, or just financial stress or other life challenges. And give yourself permission this year to do it differently. Maybe you don't have to go to that annual holiday party or that large group gathering. This is a time of year to do at least one thing, if not more nourishing thing that really fills you up. And maybe you create a new tradition that brings a smile to your face.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because it is, sometimes you just need a break from all the festivities, the holiday stuff, because it's hard reminders. But you don't want to get too isolated, I imagine.
No, and many people struggle with loneliness, especially if there's been a loss. And so we heal in community. So make sure to prioritize plans with people that you would like to see, and think about how you'd like to see them. Is it a FaceTime call? Maybe it's getting coffee, or maybe it's just sending some text back and forth. But if you plan ahead of time, then you have those plans with that person to look forward to.
And when you're struggling, it's so much easier to just stay in bed. But I think if you force yourself to do it, you usually feel better when you're with other people, and it kind of boost your mood, even if you're reluctant to be social with people.
Yeah, and if you plan ahead of time, then those people know to check on you.
Oh, that's good. That's a good point. You
advice.
said, feel free to feel. And you had a suggestion I thought was very interesting. You said, write yourself a letter that you never intend to send.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, at times emotions might grip you. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's anger, maybe it's some despair or despondency. And we need emotions to flow through us, not get stuck. So express it. Maybe you're journaling, maybe you're doing an art piece, maybe it's through movement like a winter walk. Or you can write a letter to that person that you've lost, maybe expressing everything you didn't get a chance to say or you'd want them to know. And the point isn't to actually give it to them, especially if they've passed, but I think it's a way to put on paper what you're feeling and make sense of it and maybe get a little closure.
It's very cathartic to do that.
Maybe it feels like a conversation with them in some sort of a way. Yeah. How can you create meaning during this time of year when it seems like, you lost meaning?
Yeah, and in that letter, you might even imagine what they would say to you in this moment. In loss, when we think about grief, the final phase of grief is meaning making. Out of this loss, there's a silver lining, some good can come. And this time of year, I think it's all about helping others, making a difference. So you might even think about, in the honor of that person, doing one small thing for somebody. In this loss, maybe reaching out to another person person who's experienced a loss. Maybe you make something or bake something or just spend time with somebody that you know might be struggling. And in that, you can be a light. And so many people are having a hard time. And I think we forget that we can make a difference in a small way, but those little lights really brighten up the world in this time of winter and darkness and snow. And not every holiday is joyful, and that's okay. It's okay to do it differently and knowing you're not alone.
Very true.
That is such great advice. Thank you, Shyla.
Thanks, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. We'll see you after the new year.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get a look at our forecast. Shyla was talking about doing something for others, maybe helping your neighbor shovel some snow, Jacob.
Yeah, we are going to see some snow, especially for areas off to the north. And as we look at the winter weather bulletins, there are already winter weather advisories in effect for those counties north of Dane County from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday evening through 6 a.m. Wednesday morning. Now, let's take a look at the timing of all this once again. Once again, as I keep talking about, there's going to be some light snow tonight. Not going to see anything more than maybe a ½ inch to a full inch of snowfall, as this will be a very quick system, but we could see some moderate snowfall rates at times, but this will be well out of the area once we get to Tuesday morning, with some flurries throughout the day Tuesday, but Tuesday evening is what we're keeping an eye on. It will start out as snow for just about everybody, but as we get into the overnight hours, temperatures are actually going to warm up after sunset. And so this rain you're seeing to the south will creep up to the north. It's also worth mentioning that the further north you are, the more likely you are to only see snowfall. And I do expect areas north of the Dells to only see snow with this system. But this rain snow line will continue to push off to the north, bringing in some rain, especially for Madison and areas to the south and to the southwest. And this will be kind of around 6 p.m. to midnight. And then as we get past midnight, the temperatures are going to cool back down. Still could see some light rain early Wednesday morning, but once we get closer to sunrise, everyone will see that rain transition back into snowfall, bringing in some snow showers that will clear out very quickly Wednesday, but it will leave behind some accumulation. Again, that first round of snow that we're going to see before it transitions to rain and the snow that we're going to see after the rainfall could bring in some snowfall. Right now, we're projecting around 1 to 3 for Dane County, 3 to 6 for the Dells and areas to the north, less than 1 for areas to the south, but the accumulation totals have been drifting a little bit to the south, so this 3 to 6 may end up over Dane County if that trend continues. But right now, we're still expecting 1 to 3, but we'll continue to update this over the next 24 hours because, as you can see, it's a pretty sharp gradient. So if it drifts further south at all, that could change the totals up a lot. And then we have another alert day for the cold weather later in the week, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to see wind chills possibly as cold as -20 for those mornings. So a lot of winter-like weather is expected to continue, and there's not going to be a ton of snow in the forecast after this system Tuesday night, but obviously it is going to be very, very cold, especially over the weekend.
Thank you, Jacob. Still ahead, a look at who was nominated this year for the Golden Globes. Which movie received the most nods?
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, a horror movie, an incredibly moving period drama, and the filmed version of a stage musical all hit theaters this weekend.
Yeah, but which ones are worth seeing? Here's film critic Will Loper's take.
May, Susan, and Brady. Haunted animatronics ruled the box office as Five Nights at Freddy's 2 made $63 million over the weekend.
They're out there, Mike.
Where? Expanding wide and ending in 8th is the film Hamnet. But is it worth seeing?
Is it true? You know everything about a person by touching them here? Not everything.
Chloe Zhao directs the film that is an adaptation of the 2020 novel of the same name, telling a fictional account of William Shakespeare, played here by Paul Mescal, falling in love with Agnes, played by Jessie Buckley.
He's got more inside of him than any man I've ever met.
The two are happy until they're visited by unspeakable grief.
What shall I do? Keep your heart open.
What follows is a deeply emotional and moving experience, paired with one of the best performances of the year by Buckley.
What do you see?
Hamnet is a must-see, and after receiving 11 Critics' Choice Award nominations, expect it to be a strong contender at the Oscars. Also opening in 11th is the film Merrily We Roll Along.
I think Charlie and I will handle success very well. Look how well we've handled failure. We can change the world.
The filmed version of the stage musical by Stephen Sondheim is about a relationship told in reverse between three friends, played by Jonathan Groff, Daniel Radcliffe, and Lindsay Mendez.
Old friends, how do we stay old friends?
If you're a fan of Sondheim or musicals, Merrily We Roll Along is worth seeing in theaters now. For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Thank you, Will. It's the best time of the year at the movies, don't you think?
Yeah, and Hamnet got a bunch of Golden Globe nominations,
That's
too.
true. That's right. Leonardo DiCaprio's latest film, One Battle After Another, leads today's Golden Globe nominations with 9.
And that's including nominations for its stars, DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, and newcomer Chase Infinity. It's vying for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy against Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice, and Nouvelle Vague. Failing to make the cut, though, was Wicked for Good, although stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were both recognized for their work again. On the drama side, Ryan Coogler's blockbuster Sinners earned 7 nominations, including 1 for star Michael B. Jordan. Another great movie, favorite of mine.
The Golden Globes, I think, are on CBS, aren't they?
NBC.
Oh, NBC.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I thought they were.
Watch us. Anyway, weather. How's the weather doing, Jacob?
More winter weather is on the way. We just can't seem to get any break from it. Even Tuesday, where we are going to see the temperatures warm up just a little bit, that's when we have that alert day. So snow Tuesday night, cold weather to end the week then.
All right, Jacob, thank you. We'll be right back.
You a coffee. I have to correct myself. The Golden Globes are on CBS January 11th. You were right, Susan. Tomorrow on Live at 4, join us as we track Santa's path this holiday season. And later on News 3 Now at 5, Baristas versus Billionaires. We look ahead to the documentary's Wisconsin premiere this week. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right